it's Rock Klein and we're watching another movie of the week. And the movie this week was Mighty Ducks 3 from 1996, so watch it now. Movie of the week, we're talking about a movie every single week, and we're kind of doing franchises and reviews in 2024, so we did all the Mighty Duck movies. This is the third one, so if you haven't watched the first two movies and watch those videos, do that now before you do this. This one was very different than the other ones, and I think I said in the last video, like, oh, Emilio's not in this movie. He is, but like barely. And I wondered like why they made a third movie. Like already the second movie is a lot like the first movie, but a little bit different. So why did they make their movie? And I think they made the second movie probably because the first movie did so well. So if you first movie does really well, like why not make a second movie? But it's like, why make a third movie? I guess because it's a trilogy? I don't know. But yeah, Emilio wasn't really in this episode, and I think they wanted him to be in this episode. They really, really wanted him to be in this episode, but maybe he didn't want to do it. He was just like unsure. I'm not exactly sure the exact reason. Hi, I look awful, but I'm editing this right now, and I kept saying episode in that part, and I meant movie. I apologize if I by accident say episode at any other point in this video, but I'm putting something in here so you know I'm not crazy, except now you might think I'm crazy. They were like, okay, fine, like maybe we don't have you be the center point, but like you can be in a few episodes here and there just to make a presence, and then we'll like make it seem like you're a big deal. Because they literally have like Emilio Estevez and then Mighty Ducks, and it's like he's the number one character when he like really is not. I guess they like needed him there because he was like the star power. He was the movie. He was gonna drive. Like they couldn't make this movie without him. And actually, like it's good he was in like one or two scenes. He was in like multiple scenes, but he still just like wasn't really in the movie. Probably why I thought he wasn't in the movie. But clearly Charlie Joshua Jackson is the big star of this movie, which, you know, even though I have a lot of things I can critique about this movie, I actually really love. You know, Charlie was kind of like, I felt like he wasn't really seen as much in the second movie as he was in the first movie, and that upset me. But obviously in this one, he was way bigger than the first movie. And they needed someone in star. They needed someone who'd be a leader because they didn't have Emilio, and they couldn't, like, having it be the coach doesn't really make sense, the new coach. So they had to be Charlie. So it's just like, he was just like really the big character, and his name should have been there, Joshua Jackson, instead of Emilio Estevez. But so with him being the leader, like Hans is all of a sudden the mentor him, which by the way, you know, we were talking about how the first movie is Hans and the second movie was supposed to be his brother Jans, and then this movie it's Hans again. Like, is it the same actor? I don't really know. I don't really know the story there. But then like he just dies randomly, which like I feel like that was not needed. That was not needed at all. He didn't need to die. Like, where was that? Like, because technically he's a mentor character, so sometimes you don't always see this, but sometimes in hero's journeys they kill the mentor character because then it's like, oh, you're on your own, like you're doing stuff by yourself. So maybe that was the reason, but he really didn't need to die. Like, it's just so random. So in this movie, they're finally in high school, which I thought last movie they were 14. Like, now they're 14? What? And I think like at this point they're like 17 years old or something. So it's just like they look older than 14-year-olds, but now they're finally in high school. And they get a scholarship to like, I guess Minnesota is like really crazy about ice hockey because it's a school in Minnesota, but they're the JV team, which is so crazy because of like they just won the Junior Olympics. So like, why are they the JV team? But I guess this is like the way it goes. And I mean, like those guys on the other team, they look so much older. Like how are they in high school? But yeah, I think I would be like mad if I was on the JV team and stuff. But until then, they have this new coach who's like really tough on them, which maybe he was a little bit too tough, but he actually like was making really good points about like defense, because a lot of times in other movies there's always a lesson, you know. The last one, it was like, you know, it's not all about winning, you like having fun. And so, you know, this one they like didn't want to do the whole fun thing again, so they had something where it's like teaching people that like in life, like, you know, it's not always about scoring, sometimes it's about the defense and just keeping it safe. And that was like the message with this movie. But yeah, like right from the start it was like Charlie didn't like the coach, they didn't like the coach, you know, the coach didn't want them to be the Ducks, blah 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 blah. And it's like calm down, calm down. Also it's like, oh, Charlie's the captain, but like I feel like it's not that clear in the other two movies that he's the captain. Like, we never really talked about it. I mean, maybe he had the C in his chest, like I don't even know, but I just feel like, was he really? Like, and like technically last movie he was taking more of a coaching role, so it's just like technically that is along the lines of a captain, but it's just like still like. So anyway, like they are kind of competing against each other, and then finally like the girl goalie is like more recognized for what she can do, but also like Goldberg is like, oh, let me suggest like all these like fattening things to her, and like I can be your nutritionist, and like she's an athlete. Like, how does she not know that stuff's not good for you? Like, it's just dumb. Also, the scene where at the beginning when they're skating and like Goldberg's like, I don't know how to skate. Like, yes, you do. Like, what? That's just so dumb. And then they're like, you know, down the street, like doing all this stuff. Like, I think those scenes are so dumb. Like him and Charlie, you know, that scene, because it's like that's so unrealistic. Like that could like maybe kids will want to do that, and like it's so dangerous. Like I don't know how they didn't die. But then like Adam Banks is like put on the varsity team, and I just feel like that's so random, and they just like kind of like go over it like really quickly. Like he's just like is on the varsity team. Like what? Like clearly he's like the best player, and they just like kind of go over it. I feel like every single movie there's something with Adam Banks where he's just like not really shown, and he's just like kind of left on the side. Like in the first movie he was on the other team, he was brought over to this team. The second movie, he was just like injured, so he couldn't really play. And then this movie, he just like goes to varsity. Like what? I feel like maybe they wanted that idea with one of them goes to varsity, and so he makes the most sense because it's like he's actually really good and stuff. But it's just like it still feels so random. So in their first game, when they're up like 9-0, and then all of a sudden in the last period or quarter, whatever it is, the other team just all of a sudden gets really good. It's just so unrealistic and just like makes me mad because it's just so unrealistic. Also, this movie had like a lot of like pranking each other, and like the scene where they dine and dash, well the other team dine and dash at dinner just like really upsets me. And then that bill was only $857, which actually, you know, nowadays 30 years later, like that would have been like 2K. Like they didn't get any alcohol, so maybe like it wouldn't be that much. They were in like a private room. Like I feel like renting out a private room like probably costs a lot of money, so $857 is not that much compared to what it would be today. Like they were eating steak and seafood, come on. And so then like all of a sudden they're buddy with their coach. Like their coach is like, you know, if you revoke their scholarships, I'm gonna be gone too. And it's just like, when did they become happiness? Like when did they click? I'm so confused. Because you know, Emilio comes back and shows Charlie that like the coach is taking care of his daughter who's in a wheelchair, but like then they don't talk about it. So how are they all of a sudden like happy and goody with their coach? Like I just don't get it. Wait, did I already say the point about like how Emilio said like, oh, like when you first didn't like me, or Han said it when like, oh, you didn't first like him, Coach Bombay, and then like you got to know him or something? Or maybe it was the mom. Yeah, the mom is all of a sudden back this movie. What? And so then at the end, they're competing against the varsity team, and so it's all about defense, So think like they're not scoring against them, which is really great. And so I guess it really shows like defense. And then at the end, Goldberg scores, so it's kind of crazy. Like the goalie scores at the end, but they win it, and it's all happy. And then of course there has to be some kind of love interest. I feel like there was like multiple love interests because now they're like older, they can talk more, whatever. But yeah, like Charlie's like love interest was that girl, was like the main one. But in the end, like I feel like in the end, like the first movie was the best movie. And then these two other movies just happened because the movie did so well, the first movie, but they didn't need to happen. But I think it's okay because in the end, I feel like this movie really helped like little kids like want to get involved in ice hockey, which is like kind of the point of these movies. I feel like it did teach people a lesson, and they're very enjoyable. This video's long, but I'm just gonna like kind of end it here with just that note about how not necessarily these movies need to be made, but they were okay, they were made, and the first movie is the best. Thank you guys for watching, and then what we're doing next is we're doing a few different Spider-Man movies because there's different Spider-Man stars and they have different Spider-Man movies, so I don't want to reveal exactly which ones we're doing, but we're going to do 4 of them. So the first one we're doing is the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire from 2002. So, you know, comment below all your thoughts about the Mighty Ducks and watch that Spider-Man movie for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.